Swayam Prabha. Digital India. Educated India.
Welcome to the course of organic farming. So, over last few lectures, we know what is the organic farming definition, about the principles. We have also covered the topics of whatever the different type of organic manures which can apply in the organic farming, and different type of whatever the certification rules where we can what is permitted in organic farming, which we cannot permitted, and what are the different types of biofertilizers, what is the different type of manures, what is the process of composting, also the different type of role of legumes and biofertilizers in the organic farming. Nowadays, everybody we know there is a term is climate change. So, climate change is happening over the years, but due to the some anthropogenic activities in the last 100 years, we can tell the change in the climatic parameters has a little bit much higher as compared to the our natural climate change. So, in this condition there are lots of we are getting the consequences due to the enhancements of the greenhouse gas emission, and due to the ill effect of this climate change we are also suffering the problems in agriculture. So, there is maybe flood, maybe crop loss, maybe hailstorm, or sometimes we are facing drought and other consequences. So, in this lecture we will try to focus what is the climate change occurring globally as well as the Indian condition, and what will its effect especially for the agriculture, how our agriculture is being affected due to the climate change, and what will be our way out for our future times, how we should change or reshape our agriculture so that it will only help not only to adapt for getting good quality yield in the climatic changed environment, but also how can we use our agriculture as a mitigation potential for the climate change and mitigating the greenhouse gases. So, there is two terms, one is climate and one is climate change. If we know every day what is the temperature, rainfall, how is changing over the times, day, morning, in the morning time there may be sunlight, in the evening there may be some rain, always the weather is changing. This is called weather, that is daily, maybe seasonal, we are changing. But when this weather of a particular area or particular location is changed over a long term basis 20 or 30 years, previously 20 years, 30 years back suppose we are getting 500 rainfall and nowadays we are getting 300 rainfall. So, this long term average when weather is being changed, that is called the climate. Now, what is climate change? UNFCCC defines climate change as a change of climate which is attributed directly or indirectly to the human activity that alters the composition of the global atmosphere and which is in addition to organic climate variability observed over comparable time periods. So, climate is changing from its evolution. Our earth is more than 5 billion years ago have developed. So, over the year climate has been changed. Sometimes in the previous crores years back there was some snowy period, after that there is some water has been started to develop from the snow, and after that human life and plant, animal life, and finally the human life has been evolved. But whatever the climatic changes happened over the years, the process is very slow. Maybe 1 degree enhancement of temperature takes lakhs and lakhs of years. But nowadays due to our human activities, due to our anthropogenic activities, the climate is changing at a much faster role, and that is the problem creation. Due to from the industrial revolution last 150 and 200 years, we have seen there are lots of industry has been started. We have everyone now using car or bike or other things. So, greenhouse gas emission of different type of gases, carbon dioxide, methane, nitrous oxide also has been enhanced. Due to this there is temperature enhancement increase, and also this due to the anthropogenic activities over the last several decades, our climate is changing in a faster rate and we are facing the consequences. If you see, the global mean temperature has increased 0.4774 degree over the last 100 years. Just seeing we can tell just it is increased only 0.74. What does a great deal? If you know there is a need of our greenhouse gases. if there is no gas present virtually in our atmosphere like carbon dioxide, methane, water vapor and nitrous oxide, so our earth temperature goes back to -15 degree. So there is, we know nowadays our global average temperature is somewhere is maintained. These gases are very much needed to keep certain amount of our atmosphere temperature. But when the temperature is increased, after that a certain point, even 0.74 degree temperature is increased, the effect is very much high. Nowadays somewhere we are getting too much rain, now we are getting less rain. In a particular day we are getting too much rainfall, maybe over the 20 days we are getting no rainfall. We are also facing different types of cyclones, also hailstorms and other floods. So even the increase is 0.74 degree, but this effect is very high. And also if you see temperature, we are production, if we cannot control our greenhouse gas emission, our industrial greenhouse gas emission, maybe our transport, in agriculture, everywhere, there may be chance of increase up to 4 degree, 4.5 degree. So every year people are nowadays telling this year is more hotter, more hotter and more hotter. So not only the temperature will increase, it will reduce the crop productivity, it will also start the process of new type of climatic variabilities, maybe more cyclone will become, more flood or more drought. So this is will be the, and how we can manage our climate, this is the best, we are the best judge and we have to take care of that, so that our future generation, our human civilization can exist in this earth. So someone is telling precipitation is likely to increase in the Kharif. Precipitation is very much good, it is for Kharif season, it is needed, but we are getting 500 millimeter rainfall in a single day, and you have seen the condition of the Mumbai, and this year we have also seen in the condition of the Delhi, even we are getting 100 millimeter rain in a particular day. So what happened? Our whole area, cities, roads and everything has been inundated. And also we have seen different type of sea level temperature. Many of our cities are located around the sea. It's maybe one of the big cities of the world in India, it is called the Mumbai. If the sea surface is increased by 0.5, 0.6 meter, it means the water will come out from the sea to our existing civilization and the towns and cities. So whenever will be done, whatever our drainage water that cannot go through the sea. So there will be lots of flooding and everything, and lots of people. If you see the condition of the Bangladesh, lots of area is already under flooding, and in the sea level is increased further, the crores and crores people will have been displaced, and there will be civil unrest and other things, where these lots of people will go. Already our population is 700 billion. So in the near future the population will increase, so where they will stay? So there is a shrinkages of land if there is will be more surface sea temperature. So if you see different type of parameters, what we know, the carbon dioxide, there are three main important greenhouse gases: carbon dioxide, methane and nitrous oxide. And you see their concentration, their current concentration is 410, and if you go our pre-industrial times 200 years back, it was only 280 ppm. So from 280 ppm mean parts per million, it has increased to the 410. So the enormous increase has been carbon dioxide has been done. Similarly also case of methane and nitrous oxide. But there is one thing, we always change this term global warming potential. How much a particular gas can enhance the temperature of the atmosphere. If we take in a stable value or standard value of carbon dioxide, if carbon dioxide can enhance the temperature by one value, the methane can also can contribute 21 to 23 value. It means 1 unit of methane is equivalent to 21 to 23 terms of the carbon dioxide. Similarly, nitrous oxide, this is whenever we apply lots of nitrogen fertilizer in the soil, some nitrous oxide N2O gas is released in the atmosphere. Although that their concentration is very low, but you see the global warming potential 300 to 310. It means 1 unit of nitrous oxide is equivalent to 300 equivalent to carbon dioxide. So even though their concentration is very much low, but they are contributing to 20 to 5% for methane and 5 to 10% for nitrous oxide. And so if we can control our methane emission and nitrous oxide emission apart from the CO2, we can reduce our global warming potential. We can reduce the total the bad impact of the climate change for our agriculture and others human effect. You see This is the global mean temperature, how it has been changed, and this is always the temperature is always increasing. And if you see the last 10 years or 15 years, most of the dry or most of the we are getting the higher temperature. Every year people are telling this year temperature is more and more. So, and this is going to be happened. When you need the people will use more of air condition, that everything need energy, and for this energy provision you have to either run the coal or maybe some diesel and others. So, whenever you are all are using the fossil fuels, your energy consumption will be more, and then will release the atmospheric gases of these greenhouse gases. So, we have to take care of today how to save our planet from the effect of climate change, how to mitigate, how to reduce this greenhouse gas emission, and whatever the greenhouse gas emission is already existed in the atmosphere, how we can take them back to the soil or in ocean, so that our climate change effect will be minimum. And if you see the last 15 years, this data is up to 2015. So, over the last 200 years data, whatever the our in the world data temperature is recording, every year now is being warmest. 1990, 1995, 97, 98, again 2003, 7, 13, 14. So, and this trend will continue. So, we have to act today to save our future. This is also, if you see the whatever the observed trends in the air temperature in India, and we have just classified into two parts. Whenever we are giving 1900 to 110, and if you see this is the 1970 to 2010. These two parts we have divided. And if you see everywhere, whenever the red is not significant warming and yellow is the warming tendency. And if you see in most of our condition, if you are seeing our temperature is going to the red or yellow level. It's mean in India also, we already under a tropical country. Major part of our country is under immense heat wave in the month of May, June, July. So, already we are suffering for the high temperature, and again it is temperature is going to be increased by 1 to 2 degree. It directly affect the human populations to go for outdoor, and also there will be effect on the agriculture and other activities. If you see, when the climate is being changed, our rainfall is also being changed, because and most of our Indian agriculture, more than 60% area of Indian agriculture are dependent on the rainfall. And what is the rainfall? Rainfall is mainly coming in the two way. One is southwest monsoon and is the northeast monsoon. But majority area of India is covered by the southwest monsoon, that is SW rain and M. And if you see how much the water is rainfall is just varied than the normal one. And every year we are getting, if you give some years, 2009, 2004, 2002. So, if you see in this year we are getting about -13 to -23% less rainfall. So, where a farmer does not have the capacity to irrigation or had the facility of the irrigation water, he is mainly dependent for his crop growth on the agriculture, that is southwest monsoon. If the rainfall is reduced by 20% and he is not getting rain for 20 days in the time of sowing of crops, so total crop productivity will be reduced further and total food production also will be less. And in a country like India, when we have 130 crore population, we have to feed, and this population is going to be increased in near future. So, there is a tremendous challenge for our policymaker, our scientists and our agriculturists, how to feed the population. And if there is, we are getting some year 20 or 30% less rain, then our food grain production always will be questionable, how to feed. So, we have to always take care of this climate change. We have to make our agriculture also relatively to the climate smart, and some part then we can only address the issues. Also, we are some year getting floods in Rajasthan, we are getting one of the warmest year in 2010, drought in Punjab, Haryana, we are getting hailstorm. So, this also affect the agriculture productivity. A farmer is going some crop, in a particular day too much hailstorm has been happened in tomato, so 100% of crop is being lost. So, we have to take care of all these things for our save our population. And you see, this is some extreme event, Uttarakhand flash flood, and every year today itself we have seen in different type, just in last month in Himachal Pradesh also how the landslide is being occurring. So, every time there is this intensity is going to be increased, too much big size of hailstorm. So, that is total crop 100% crop failure. We are also seeing different type of cyclone every year, Probably previously we are getting 1 cyclone in a year, now we are getting 5, 6 cyclone in a year. Again just it is going to be hit within 1 or 2 days. So, this extreme event is going to be increased, and this is all due to the climate change. Now you have to believe climate change has happened, it is happening and it will happen in future. So, you have to take care of that. Also we are getting unseasonal rain. A farmer has grown a cultivation of crop, a very good crop of mustard or wheat. In the March or April, if there is too much getting a rainfall, majority his crop going just inundated. So, he has suffered a very huge loss. Similarly, suppose a farmer is growing in mango, and when with this small stage there is too much hailstorm or some extreme calamities activities. So, most of his mango has been being dropped, the farmers is gotten nothing. So, that is why there are lots of, we are also reporting cases of farmer suicide in India. So, we have to always take care of these things due to the climate change. Most estimates also indicate that climate change is likely to reduce agricultural productivity, production stability and income. Not only the agriculture productivity, whenever the agriculture productivity is reduced, as majority more than 60% of our population is dependent directly or indirectly with the agriculture. Some are food producer, some are working as laborers, some are working in the field, some are also in the packaging industry. If the agriculture production is down, so all the people who are also involved indirectly, they will be also affected. So, we have to always take care of that. And also if you see in this scenario, organic farming, which is known to reduce the greenhouse gas emission and also can mitigate the bad effect of our climate change, has some type of solution for climate change. This is the climate stress in agriculture. Our 70% land are under drought prone, 12% flood prone and 8% cyclones. So, generally frost is common in the northern regions, but sometimes we are getting frost in the other areas where we are not getting frost. So, this is the effect of the climate change, and we have to take care for every sphere of life. Not only you have to reduce the emission of different type of greenhouse gas emission globally, but also we have to make our agriculture to be climate resilient so that it can produce enough food for our burgeoning population. The impact also climate change on the soil health, and in my earlier class I have already discussed what is the role of soil, how the soil is helping for the nature, how soil organic carbon is helping in the soil different physical, chemical and biological activity. So, when the temperature will be more mineralization will be occur. So, due to the mineralization, whatever the composed, decomposed we are going in the field, majority again will go back to the atmosphere. So, we have, when temperature has some negative effect, already we are in a tropical country. So, there is an effect of increased salinization, soil water deficit. More and more water will be needed to grow your crop. So, again you will uplift the soil water from the very deep layer, your water table again will be depleted down. So, this will be happen in your future and we have to take care of that. So, agriculture in developing countries must undergo a significant transformation in order to relate changes of achieving food security, because our population is increasing, and projection based on the population growth and food consumption pattern indicate that agricultural production will need to increase by at least 70% to meet the demand of 2050. So, whatever we are going food production, our food production we have reached a very good level, more than 300 million ton, but in our 2050 we have to produce more, because population is increasing. Our livestock also, people are also going for the non-veg. There are lots of, if are kind to the pork industry, maybe the poultry industry. So, when your non-veg consumption will be higher, this poultry also needs some their food. This pig also need their some food, goat also need their food, sheep also need food. So, we have to produce our food not only for the human beings, you have to also give this food to our livestock. So, there is a chance of we have to increase 60 to 70% of the total food production. So, we have an enormous challenge, but what is the problem of climate change? The weather will be different, there will be too much extreme event, and so we have to take care of climate smart agriculture, also we have to reduce the greenhouse gas emission, and that we cannot do in India alone, because this is a global phenomenon. So, globally we should act together and we have to take action to save our planet. So, what is the climate change effect on crop production? One is temperature increase. So, when temperature increase, I have already told what is the repercussions. Another is the weather hazard, somewhere cyclone, somewhere maybe flood, somewhere maybe drought. and also we are getting different other things like sea level rise. Wherever the area, suppose in is Burma, you are Bangladesh, you are seeing lots of area, this is under seaside. Where the sea water level is rise by 1 meter, lots of area will become underwater. So where the people will go? And also this increase of the droughts. Already suppose in suppose area we are getting 500-meter rainfall and we are not getting rain for 20 or 25 days, then there will be different, the repercussion will be high. Our crop may be failure, or otherwise where farmers is getting 30 quintal of wheat, he may get only 20 quintals. The climate change will also aggravate the problems of water scarcity and excess. This is the most problem. Probably climate change is telling, due to the projection, your rainfall may be increased by 10 to 15%. But that is not a very happy news for us. Suppose a area is getting 800 millimeter rainfall, but for a particular period of time, for 2 months not getting any rain. So what will be the agriculture growth? And you will see the culture of the ponds is being dried. Similarly, a part of area where we are growing very drought type of crops, we are not growing rice and other crops, and there is too much water in a single day, the area is being flooded, you see the pictures. So this water is not of our use. Water is always, rainfall is good when is distributed uniformly. Otherwise, you are getting in a particular rain in a 500 millimeter in a single day, and 1 month we are getting a single drop of rain, then our effective rainfall is very much less. And effective rainfall is more important, and this is the calamities we are facing due to the climate change. So climate change also enhance. There is a prediction when due to the too much rainfall will come, there will be increase in the humidity. There is an increase in temperature. So when temperature will increase, humidity will increase, definitely the insect, pest build-up and disease build-up will be increased. So we have to not only take care of this issue, we have to also take care in our future the disease will come. Not only suppose we have Sera in the case of our COVID-19, and also we are seeing in different crops. Previously we have not so much faced problem of the maize, but for the last 2-3 years we are getting a tremendous challenge to control how to control the fall armyworm in maize. So this has a new pest dimension. Probably 5 years back some pests are not invading us. Now that pest become major. So there is a always triangle between how to pest, host and climate. Host is the plant, pest and climate. So this triangle is very much important. What are the different factors which are affecting the climate change? There are some organic factors. Organic factors mean the natural factors, which is going over the thousands and lakhs of years. Maybe volcanic eruption, that is very rare, and also solar variation. Sometimes forest fire we are reported, but this is not our major concern. Our major concern, but what is the effect of the forest fire? You see when temperature is increased and there is no rain, forest fire is increased. Last year we have also seen in the USA, in California and in Australia, a huge area of their forest has been being just burned. So this is the ill effect also of the climate change. Artificial factor, human activities, we need energy, we need electricity. For that you have to run different type of power plant and gas emission. Also you have we need some transport vehicle, maybe it is aeroplane, maybe it's train, buses, cars, and every day the numbers are increasing. So greenhouse gas emission is also increasing, and different other factors. So this is the burning of fossil fuel, this is the deforestation. When human population is increasing, they need more area to stay. So what is happening? Previously we have supposed particularly agriculture area. Now certain part of agriculture area is being diverted to industry. Certain part of that land is going diverted to the national highways, rail lines, airports. So your land is decreasing. We are also not only we are invading the agricultural land, we are also focusing for the forest land. Lots of forest being clear for development, different type of activities. And due to the deforestation, our temperature is also increasing, greenhouse gas is increasing, because this forest has very high capability to absorb the carbon dioxide and reduce the mitigation of these global warming gases. And also this is fact. What is the greenhouse gases? Whenever we are standing in a car, we parked a car near about the sunlight, and we have just closed all the windows, and we have outside for 1 hour, 2 hours. When we come and enter the door, we cannot enter within the car. The temperature has become so hot. So why? Because the sun glass, what is the glasses is covered in the car, they can allow the entry of the radiation. This is the surface, this is sun. So if we see the short wave radiation is coming, this is the rule. This is the short wave radiation, and some this part radiation again going back to the atmosphere. So whatever the glasses is there, they can allow the penetration of the short wave radiation, but they are not allowing to going back the long wave radiation. So whatever the radiation is coming, they are being trapped within our car. So what is happening? Our car inside temperature is increasing. Similarly, when the greenhouse gases like carbon dioxide, methane, nitrous oxide, water vapor, they are increased in our atmosphere, they also trap the heat. So they are not allowing to go back the radiation back to the atmosphere. So balance is disturbing. So that's why our temperature of the atmosphere is also increasing. As a greenhouse, we are growing crops and we are increasing the temperature by this phenomenon. This is called greenhouse gas effect. So this is the picture you are showing how in the atmosphere different type of we are absorbed. This is the nitrous oxide, this is methane, this is CO2, and also this water vapor is there. And I have already told 1 unit of methane equivalent to 21 unit of carbon dioxide, 1 unit of nitrous oxide equivalent to 310 unit of carbon dioxide. So we have to not only control the carbon dioxide emission, but we also take care of the methane and nitrous oxide emission. This is the also different gases I have tell already you: water vapor, carbon dioxide, methane, nitrous oxide, and fluorinated gases. There are some gases like chlorofluorocarbon, CFC. They are not only destroying our ozones, which are residing in the ozone layer, they are also a very good heat trapping event, and they can also trap more than lakh unit as compared to the carbon dioxide. But previously, whenever we use different type of refrigerator, this chlorofluorocarbon has been used. But nowadays technology has been improved and this CFC has been replaced by some other gases. But our carbon dioxide, methane and nitrous oxide is going on in alarming rate, and we have to take care how to control our greenhouse gas emission. This is the mitigation part, this is not the adaptation part. There is two terms, one is adaptation. How there is too much temperature, suppose in the outside, you take an umbrella and you go in the sunlight. It means you are not reducing the temperature, you are adapting yourself to that condition, that is called adaptation. But what is the mitigation? Suppose there is not too much sunlight is not there, our carbon dioxide concentration is low, in the winter it is already cold temperature and you are going out, that is called mitigation. So mitigation is already reducing what is your existing, what is the concentration and other things, but adaptation, how you adapt yourself so that you will not face the problem. So if you see what is the contribution of different sectors of the world, if you see energy sector, one of the highest sector, 25.9% of the total global warming gas emission. If you see also the forestry and other thing, but our agriculture definitely it is very less, 13.5. But if among the different agriculture also process in our, if we India, our agriculture is 28%. So agriculture is also a emitter of some type of greenhouse gases. But apart from the emitter, agriculture also sequesters the carbon. So this is the beauty of the agriculture, but that is not only emitting, but they are sequestering carbon. So this is very much important whenever we know any type of agricultural activities, we have to management. How to manage our different type of activities. So what is the different type of sources of greenhouse gases? One is methane, nitrous oxide and CO2. CO2 is substantial emission of CO2 from soil, however originate from land use deforestation. We are going cars, we have also applied different types of energy, petroleum products, coal products every day we are burning in our home also. So these all majorly lead to the carbon dioxide emission. For nitrous oxide, it is mainly for the whenever we apply too much nitrogen fertilizer. It is mainly the agricultural source, what is the greenhouse gases. We are applying too much urea fertilizer or maybe some other, whenever this nitrogen fertilizer goes through the soil, in the some biochemical process this nitrous oxide is being developed. And I have already told 1 unit of N2O is equivalent to more than 20 unit of the, more than 300 unit of the CO2. So if also the production or total amount of the nitrous oxide is less, but is contributing the higher. And also if you see the methane, we have lots of a cattle population, and you will learn due to their rumen, our livestock's rumen, there is some microbes, they also generate somewhat of methane. And also when there is too much we need rice, and rice is always, if we submerge it under very much condition, there is also methane. But nowadays most of our rice cultivation techniques we are going aerobic, and also we are growing a system of rice intensification, flooding and also drying, flooding and also drying. So by this process, by this different type of improved scientific agricultural practices, we have the capacity to reduce the production of different type of not only the carbon dioxide but also the methane and also the nitrous oxide. So how our conventional agriculture is contribute to more and more greenhouse gas emission. Although agriculture is emitting less greenhouse gases as compared to the other industrial sector, but there is a contribution. So even though we want to know whatever our conventional agricultural practices which leads to more GHGs. Now one is synthetic fertilizer and agrochemicals. Not only whenever we producing this amount of synthetic fertilizer, we need lots of energy and fossil fuels. Similarly, whenever applying this fertilizer in our field, just mainly for nitrogen, the nitrous oxide is being emitted. Similarly, we have also burning of biomass waste in farms. We have seen in case of Punjab, Haryana last several times after the rice straw is being burned, and lots of these gases is coming to the engulfing the Delhi, and there is a problem not all on the air pollution also. Similarly, we have done frequent tillage, 2, 3, 4 tillage because tractor has been come, and also due to this tractor and help of with heavy machineries we are more tilling. Probably a soil need not need too much tilling, but due to our easy farm operation, control of the weed and timely sowing, we are going for that. Also we have different type of aerobic decomposition and soil erosion. Due to our faulty agricultural practices, there is too much soil erosion is being occurred, and lots of this carbon is being lost from our soil, and ultimately it goes to the rivers and the oceans. So why agriculture is vulnerable to climate change? Because highly diverse in nature, huge rainfall dependency is there, we have not irrigation everywhere, our infrastructure is not adequate, and rapid degradation of the soil. And also we are getting the monsoon, flood, cyclone, so our yield will be less, our biodiversity will less, and also I have already discussed the problem of weed, pest and disease. These two will again answer in near future. So we have to take care of these things in for our classes. And if you see, this is the climate change. What is the projection in 2050? If you say there is been map has been done in this feature, this red color indicate what will be the percentage of yield losses, -50 to -20%. While if you see for green area, there may be some good things, yield may be increased. But if you see wherever the green area is existed, in most of the cases this green area is existed in the Arctic, in the Canadas, where the temperature is already too low. So when the temperature is too much low, in increasing a temperature may be good for them. But I don't know the other applications, cyclones and other things. It is just a prediction. But most of the condition, if you see our parts, definitely parts of China, India and Africa, most you see the African parts, in Indian also subcontinent, this is red to yellow. So in future there is a projection, if the climate change is going in this way and we are not applying the our climate smart agriculture, we are going agriculture what we practicing today, this type of traditional or conventional agriculture, there may be a yield reduction. So impact of climate change on crop yield. So whenever there will be climate change, it also increase the diseases, it increase the nitrogen and nutrient energy scarcity, and also there are lots of other problems. So we have to be ready our different type of what should be our agronomic management practices. Not only we should produce varieties, the varieties of breeding purposes, some variety which may cope up with this climate change scenario, they may can give some good yield, even the temperature will increase, rainfall is less. But our agronomic management practices, how much fertilizer we have to give, how much manure we have to give, when to sow, how to sow our crop, and what will be other our scientific climate smart agricultural practices we have to follow, upon that our productivity will depend. Poor farmers are the worst affected. For a big farmers or for a resource man farmers, probably if there is some no rain also, he can get irrigation. He can purchase fertilizer from the market and apply the soil. But a small farmer who are land is very less, resources are very much poor, and if there is a too much no water or there is too much water for a particular day, all of crops being will lost. So the most affected will be the small and marginal farmers in this climate change event. So if you see, so what to do? Number one, mitigation. It is not easy. Everyone need energy. 20 years back, if you see our air condition everywhere number is very less. Nowadays everyone need comfort, everyone need car, everyone need a better living standards. So you need the energy. For production of energy you need fossil fuels. Whenever there is fossil fuel combustion, greenhouse gas will be. So and whatever the process we are taking over the years, how to reduce our greenhouse gas, that is not sufficient. So adaptation, it is always better if we can change ourselves in the existing climate. If we don't feel that heat, that will be better, but that is also not easy, because every human body, just like we cannot tolerate too much temperature, a plant also has certain limit. So beyond that he can also can tolerate. So if you see, both we want to do mitigation and adaptation, that will be the best, and for that we have to adopt climate smart agriculture. We can sometimes also tell this is climate resilient agriculture. So what about the different type of strategies of mitigation in agriculture? Number was the reducing emission. In agriculture, although we are contributing less amount of greenhouse gas emission, but there is some scope. Second, removing the emission. How this is very much important. Whatever the already carbon dioxide and other gases emitted in the atmosphere, how we can bring back to our soil. For here the term is coming on the different types of things, and we are also using removing. So we have can done under the improve agronomic management practices. We have to be better management when to crop you sow. There should be different type of mulching activities. Maybe how to increase our soil fertility, soil condition, physical and biological activity, different type of biofertilizers and others. Under the organic farming, carbon sequestration. This is paramount importance. How we can sequester the carbon? Carbon is every day increasing in the atmosphere. How can we capture the carbon and put within the soil, and put in such a way that carbon is going again back in the atmosphere? It should be stay sufficiently long period in the soil. That only we are killing carbon sequestration. Otherwise we are applying some crop residue, and majority of that after the decomposition carbon dioxide is going back. That is not carbon sequestration. So also we have to do agroforestry, planting mangrove in the coastal areas. These are some process for removing the emission. So why for organic farming? Is not the conventional agriculture. What is the advantage of organic farming for this climate change mitigation? So we have already, they have a very low global warming potential, because in case of urea we are applying nitrogen fertilizer, they are producing nitrous oxide, and nitrous oxide in organic farming we are giving cow dung. Although cow dung is generating more CO2, but if we see 1 unit of nitrous oxide equivalent to more than 300 unit of carbon dioxide. So although the total amount of nitrous oxide is released due to this urea and nitrogen fertilizer is less, but the total consequences of the global warming potential as compared to the organic farming is high. Similarly, it is a resilient system. In every time organic farming we are promoting crop diversity. You grow more and more type of crops. You grow legumes. Legumes also nitrogen fixation. We are growing cover crops. We are growing green manure crops. We are also growing green limb manure, hedgerow crops. So due to the crop diversity and also the microbial diversity with the soil, we are always promoting some climate smart agriculture. We are also growing 5, 6, 10 different type of crops in a farming system mode. So if there is some loss for a particular enterprise, the farmers will get something from the others. Similarly, it also sequesters the carbon and reduce the soil loss through the erosion, because when in organic farming our soil will be stable, aggregate stability will be better. So if there is some erosion, wind erosion, maybe also for the water erosion, our soil loss will be less. When a soil is being lost, not only the soil, a very good amount of also quality our nutrients, nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, as well as lots of micronutrients also being lost. So what is the meaning of organic farming? I have already discussed in my previous classes, where we cannot use any inorganic fertilizer, pesticide, plant growth regulators and feed additives. So we have to rely on the crop rotation, crop diversification and organic source of nutrient, and organically or biologically pest and disease control methods. And if we see the organic farming in India, it is not new. Traditionally we are following the organic farming. But after the introduction of the high yielding varieties, there is a need to give fertilizer to give our bargoing population, because population is increasing. But nowadays consumer awareness and scientific and policy decision has also been taken how to conserve your soil. So apart from our conventional high input agriculture, organic farming is also being promoted, and there are certain parts maybe where the temperature is low, organic carbon is high, and also the farmer is using very less fertilizer, just like in the northeastern part of India, organic is being propagated. And if you see why, they are also sustainable and eco-friendly. It improves quality, shelf and nutritive value of the farm produce. It also encourages the sustainable livelihood of the producers as well as the safeguard consumer health. Consumer health is very much important, I have always told. If we get every time we are market, and we have analyzed that most of our vegetables and fruits have pesticide loaded with them. When a farmers or some other person are using this type of insecticide and pesticides without following the scientific process, there may be some pesticide is good for controlling pest, but the harvest should be taken after 10 or 15 days. But if he is harvesting in the next day after the pesticide application, so loss of pesticide residue is present within the food, and that ultimately come to our human health, and there are a lot of health hazards is being happened. It also encourages the physical structure, maybe infiltration rate, water holding capacity is very much important. Also the nutrient supply of the soil, that is the chemical, and also the different type of microorganisms which are present, the soil biological activity is improving by the organic farming. Organic agriculture has considerable potential for reducing the emission of greenhouse gases, not only the methane and nitrous oxide, but also the carbon dioxide. The organic agriculture technique can contribute significantly the sequestration of the carbon, because in traditional agriculture we are giving only fertilizer, that is the inorganic farming. But in organic farming we are always promoting to go for composting, go for the green manure. So whatever the crop residue, whatever the crop type, different type of residues, maybe crop, plants and excrete and other things, which everyone has a carbon, enough amount of carbon, that carbon we are giving back to the soil. It is not necessary that whatever the carbon we are giving back to the soil will be secured, but definitely a certain part of that is being secured. And always in organic farming we are promoting the deep rooted multi-purpose trees, also the leguminous crop. This leguminous has a very high deep root system. So when the root will be deeper in the soil, they also exclude some different type of organic acids, and after the decomposition of their roots, the soil organic carbon will be enhanced, because in the lower strata of the soil microbial presence is little bit low as compared to the surface soil. So they help when there is less microbial presence in the subsurface layer, so our decomposition rate will be less, so the organic carbon will be stable. It also supports the stable diversity, water conservation and water management, and also promote air and climate change. So organic farming not only saves energy for both an annual machine, but also reducing of crop failure, because I have already told previously how they are help against the crop failure pressures. What are the soil management for climate change mitigation? Whenever we go, there is sustainable intensification. Sustainable means we have to take care of our soil not only today, we have to also produce good amount of food, we have to feed our population, but without disturbing the soil quality, without disturbing the ecosystem, without disturbing the environment. Also you have to they are reducing nitrogen greenhouse gas emission, especially from the organic carbon is reported to less. So that helps in the mitigation of this organic in case of the here. And also if we see the demand side opportunities, one thing is sequestering carbon in agriculture system. How we can sequester carbon back to the soil, so that it also help to reduce the carbon dioxide concentration which is already present in the atmosphere into the soil. And also how the land use change. Instead of we are growing only monocropping of cereal based cropping system, how we can grow for different type of crop diversification, crop rotation, and also for the agroforestry. This is the soil quality. One diagram has been given by Mandal in 2009. We have worked out the soil quality index, how a soil quality is being maintained. A positive side is always good and advocated, and negative side is your soil quality is being deteriorated over the years. And if you see, in case of when we are giving only NPK, we are giving also control, we are not giving any manures and other things, our soil quality index is negative. But when we are applying FYM, otherwise green manure, this both the cases our soil quality index is positive. This means we have to apply organic manure, we have to also green manure and this type of activities for your climate smart agriculture. Then only our soil quality will be maintained. If the soil quality will be maintained, then only it can produce extra and sufficient food for in future. So carbon sequestration is defined as the long term storage of carbon in oceans, soils, vegetation and geologic formulation. It is defined by the Olsen as the process of transferring carbon dioxide from the atmosphere into the soil. So, this carbon dioxide is present in the atmosphere. There we have to keep some mechanism how we can capture this and we put in the soil. One is process, suppose we are doing different type of big multi-purpose trees, otherwise agroforestry. They have a very high deeply root system. They use the carbon dioxide how? They use photosynthesis, and carbon dioxide is very much necessary for the photosynthesis. So, that carbon is being captured within the plant body, and after the decay and residue decomposition, certain part of carbon going back to the soil. Similarly, when the root system is very deep enough, there are also carbon conserved in the deeper soil layer. Similarly, whenever we grow this type of crops in our cropping system, legumes, agroforestry, the carbon sequestration potential is definitely being enhanced. Although the ocean store most of the earth ocean, soil contain approximately 70% of the carbon pool, and soil play a major role in maintaining the global carbon soil. Soil is not only the emitter of the carbon dioxide, but also are the place where we can sequester. How could oil we are manage we can our soil? How could oil we can just sequester the carbon in the soil? Upon that our carbon sequestration potential depends, and organic farming has a very prominent role in this aspect. So, this is a new term called farming of carbon. We are farming for crops, we are farming vegetables, we are farming for different secondary agricultures, farming carbon. So, carbon is very much important, how we can sequester the carbon in the soil, and organic farming play a major role for this carbon farming, because organic farming what they are promoting? They are always promoting use of the crop residue. In organic farming we are always advocating use whatever the crop residue is there, do not throw outside your farm. You either give the soil as a mulching, otherwise you make a compost or vermicompost. Similarly, crop rotation. Not only the monocropping of cereal based, we are also advocating the use of this year one crops, second year another crop. Also you go for legume. Legume maybe you can grow is a intercropping, is a mixed cropping, as a LA cropping, you can also grow legume in the cropping sequence. Similarly, crop diversification, you have to apply different type of crops, 10, 15, 20 type of crop in your farm, so that if they are due to the climate change scenario, if there is some loss also some crops, you can get yield from the other. And these different type of plants when are combined in together, they have the capability of the carbon sequestration differentially. Some plant may be sequester carbon more as compared to the others. Moderate temperature and moisture regime. When there will be too much organic matter in the soil, soil temperature will be less. If the soil temperature will be less, so there will be less chance of decomposition and the carbon dioxide going back to the atmosphere. So, temperature they are moderate, they also provide the moisture regimes. So, they provide sufficient quantity of water to crop when there is no irrigation facility, so that yield will be better. And also we have favorable niche for carbon stabilization. So, how the carbon is sequestered? We have told through photosynthesis CO2 is already coming, and the plant has these roots. From the roots they are going to the microbes, and this is chemically protected soil organic carbon. This means this organic carbon is not further decomposed by the microbe. This organic carbon then can be also go to the aggregates within the soil, and this is stable. And when the carbon is converted to this form, we can tell carbon sequestration has been occurred, and this will sufficiently stay in the soil maybe 100 or 1000 of years, so that our soil quality always be maintained. How can we do the carbon sequestration? Another is sink enhancement. This is the called of carbon capture, process of transferring atmospheric carbon and storing it in the soil mainly as soil organic matter without affecting the environment. So, deforestation leads to the carbon emission. But if we convert more and more area under forest, so they will conserve the carbon. If we are growing one crop, now we are growing diversified crops, several crops, and this crop also capturing the carbon dioxide. But we have to grow in such a way so that that carbon can be stored in the soil for sufficiently long period, then only our objective will be fulfilled. Similarly, for this condition, agroforestry is a panacea. He is a very high capacity for the carbon sequestration. They show significant carbon accumulation in living biomass as well as soil carbon, demonstrating the potential. They can contributing to reduce carbon dioxide emission by avoid burning of forest bed fuel and conserving soil. Besides, in case of shifting cultivation or zoom agriculture, the people are clearing the land, they are cutting the jungle biomass and burning. So lots of carbon dioxide and other gases is going back to the atmosphere. If that type of shifting cultivation areas is can convert into some agroforestry model, so farmers not only get good income due to the agriculture and these forestries, the greenhouse gas emission for that shifting cultivation area will be also reduced. This is the different type of agroforestry, and somewhere we can grow different type of crops. You can grow as a Tephrosia candida a crop. You can also grow this is previously this was a Jhum land. Now the rice is growing here and agroforestry tea is growing here. So burning will be less, gas emission will be less, and this plant will conserve the carbon in their root in the soil. Similarly, we can also go is a in the Jhum as the band, that is our Tephrosia candida, and also give different type of large cardamom agroforestry in Sikkim is existed, where farmers are growing in the lower area cardamom. This is a high value crop, but there are also some forestries or trees agroforestry, so they are conserve the cost. So always they are not only the income is should be the motive, we should always also motivate the conserve the nature, conserve the ecosystem. We have also worked out what is the carbon sequestration potential and soil carbon stock under different nutrient management practices. And if we see, this is the CSP, carbon sequestration potential is always very much high in the case where we are using FOIM, where we are using the green manure, where we are using even the weed system. In similarly also case in the lower share also we are getting absorbance in case of these things. So this means when we are already applying FOIM, we are applying the green manure, we are also advocating the weed biomass and different type of crop residue back into the soil apart from the applying NPK. So carbon sequestration potential of particular agro ecosystem being enhanced. What is the low cost carbon source which we can apply into the soil? One is FOIM. In organic farming, it is advocated to give different type of this low cost carbon source, cereal straw, maybe rice straw, maize stalk, wheat stalk, which are waste products sometimes that is not used by the cattle of the livestock population is not there. Also the green manure come and city waste. In everywhere we are generating huge amount of city garbage. If we can sufficiently use with scientific method, then they can also help generating the carbon sequestration. If we see one of our experiment we have done how the soil organic carbon varies over the years, and if we see we are applying different type of manures, you can apply FOIM, you can apply vermicompost, otherwise you can apply 75% of the FOIM and 25% of the vermicompost. So if we see over the years from the initial 2005 up to 2013, after a 8 years period of time, we have seen the soil organic carbon is being highest in case of when we are applying FC and VC. But if you see in both the cases, FOIM and VC when we are applying, the consistency is little bit higher than the FOIM alone. So in a organic farming also, for the carbon sequestration potential view, we have to think which organic manure we should apply in the field. Our intention is good to better quality food, more food, but our intention also should be in our agriculture that so that our soil carbon how we are managing, how our soil carbon is increasing, so that same soil will give more and more yield in near future. Otherwise, every time we are extracting from the soil and we are not taking care of the soil, then definitely our future, our soil will be very much depleted and yield and other everything will be low from the soil. This is also the methane flux predicting. One experiment has been done in Sing 12, and if you see what is the methane? Methane is also a greenhouse gas. This is emitted from the rice if there is too much water stagnation for a particular time of period. If you see in case of control and where we are applying only control, we are using not any vermicompost and other things, the methane effect is 1.28. While in case of straw and direct sowage, where you are giving RDA, this is a recommended dose of fertilizer. So it is very high amount of methane is being emitted, 7.28 just milligram per meter square per hour. But when we are using vermicompost, that is a organic manure, our methane emission rate is reduced. So they are in organic farming, that's why always promotes less greenhouse gas emission in the atmosphere, either maybe vermicompost or FOIM. So we have to always take care of this in our climate smart agriculture for our future betterment. If you see different type of tillage is also there. In organic farming, we always try to promote less tillage. You should not till every year. There is a concept of zero tillage, where you can grow. Similarly, in Punjab, Haryana area, where we are growing lots of wheat after the rice, and there is a very less time people are burning the rice straw. Now there is some intervention has been done with the happy seeder and other things. We are advocating to grow wheat in between rice fallow with some instruments. This is called zero tillage. So there is very minimum till in the soil for the next crop. And if you see, in case of conventional tillage, emission is 170 kg per hectare, while in case of zero tillage, the emission is only 30. So there is too much reduction of the greenhouse gas emission from the soil. There is also different type of, we had different type of tillage, crop residue management, crop rotation, system, mulching. We should also advocating the green manuring, agroforestry, afforestation. So these all are part of our organic farming. In organic farming, we always advocated to go for the residue management, residue cover, green manuring, leguming, intercropping, mixed farming, afforestation, agroforestry. So all of farming, this instrument helps not only to mitigate the carbon dioxide and other greenhouse gases, but also for adopting our agriculture so that our agriculture become climate smart. The reduction of greenhouse gas emission also has the lower growing potential. If you see, where the carbon sequestration we are considering, the greenhouse gas emission is minus 80%. Also, different type of carbon sequestration has a very prominent role whenever we calculating different type of greenhouse gas emission, particularly a cropping system. And if we see, organic agriculture is self-sufficient in nitrogen. Most of the cases for the legume crops when we are growing, we have not to apply any fertilizer from the outside. So if it is sufficient within its nitrogen, then there is no need of organic fertilizer, inorganic fertilizer, especially nitrogen. So if nitrogen dose is restricted, our nitrous oxide emission will be reduced. Similarly, integrated of livestock and crop production. When in organic farming, farming system mode we always promote to grow for livestock. So there is always different type of incomes. So if you are getting some income from crops, some maybe some fisheries and some from other livestock, so your enhancement will be yield, total system productivity, and you will get a better livestock. Nitrogen efficiency, avoid shifting cultivation. Shifting cultivation we are always avoiding. You should not go for burning. Rather, you should go for some type of settle cultivation of improved zhool cultivation, maybe agroforestry, maybe other. And if this we can stop the burning and we can done the certification process in these shifting cultivation areas, there is a tremendous chance for the northeastern area of India to go for organic and making a organic hub of the country. Organic farming also reduction the fossil fuel consumption instead of huge biomass. So there are different type of other things like agroforestry, permaculture, polyculture is also doing. In this system, integrated organic farming system come. Integrated organic farming system mean where we are growing not only the crop, we are also growing vegetables, fruits, livestock, fishery, everything in a holistic approach within a small farm, organically managed. It is a dynamic approach and nothing is being wasted. All the byproduct or waste product of one thing as huge as the input for the others, so that our market dependence for the external input will be very much less. And if you see, this is the ecological pathway. We have some farm family. This pond water is usually used for the irrigation of crop, and whatever the cow washing is directly coming to the pond. So we don't have to give any food to the fishes. This water is used for the irrigation, and whatever the cattle excreta is being compost, and this compost again we are growing for the vegetable and other food purpose. So every system components is enterprise, so that we have not to purchase any fertilizer from the market and nothing is being wasted. We are using within the field. So carbon sequestration we are doing, we are also managing all the farm unit within our farm. Similarly, other different system, we can also grow different type of other livestock. We are growing different type of cattle, we are growing pig, we are growing goat, we are growing poultry, and also the fishery. So when these all component we are managing organically in a very systematic way, so nothing is being wasted, so that our total loss carbon dioxide emission will be less. And when we are putting in a scientific way in a climate smart agriculture, they also enhance the soil carbon content. They also help in the carbon sequestration. So indirectly they also help the reducing the effect of the climate change. This is the also different type. We also use the pond dikes. This is some innovation where you can use more with your efficient resources. And you can also different type of vertical cropping. Above area you can grow some crops, and the lower side you can grow crops. So within same area you are growing 2 or more crops. You will see how beautifully we are growing turmeric in beside here, and also we are going different type of other crops. So within the same area, multi-star or vertical cropping, you are getting 2 or 3 crops. So this will help you get some extra yield without, and this is climate smart agriculture. If there is some problem, there is some climate calamity, maybe apart from with the bamboo merchant, the crop may be affected, but the crop we are staying in the lower strata may be saved. So you are getting some assured income from your own farm. So there is some agriculture is there. Organic farming always promote these agricultural activities. So we have to take care of organic farming in such a way so that our maximum aim should be the mitigation of the climate agriculture. Also it should be adopted so that if the near future our climate will be more vulnerable, but we have to get some income, some assured income, not only the quality of the food, also the quantity of food is very much required. So by this way, by the different type of intercorporation and combination of different type of technologies and organic farming and different type of crops, legumes, agroforestry, green manuring, other feeds, we can able to produce enough food for our future generation. So that, and we should be adopt this type of climate smart or climate resilient agriculture to get a quality food, to get a more quantity of food for our future population. Thank you.